Welcome back into the Dave Diary update, and what a series of videos it's been. I've been uploading them as fast as I can, but there are limits, and well, some of them are, well, not actually topical for the work that I'm doing right at the moment. In fact, they are a few months old. But one of the things that I made, you could say, a wee bit of a boo-boo with, and I actually now recall making a little video on it, was my track saw, or plunge saw, and I had touched a couple of nails with the blade. So, off to the shop to get a new one. And I was actually, this is the first time I've had to replace the blade, and I thought, oh, that hasn't lasted too bad. It's done a lot of cutting. Not too bad. Still actually pretty good. So I won't be throwing that out any time soon, just on the off chance that I will swap it out for, what do you say, rough cuts or breaking down of material. Put the better one back in for doing the actual, the final cuts. Now, that's a good theory, but the reality is, once it goes in, it just may get used for everything that I decide to cut. I hadn't realised, although I do recall hearing something about some of these blades, specialised. And when I opened up the packaging, or I took this off, it actually had specialised for timber cutting. And I go, there must be others for melamine. So off I trot to the shop and had a look, and sure enough, there's this one, which, hang on, it's identical. 56 tooth, 20mm bore, part number, and I'm looking at it and I think it's the same one. So who knows, but this does say wood and melamine fine finish. So who would know? In fact, I don't. That's on the packaging. Let's just get it out and see whether it says that on the blade itself. Hang on. Nope, it is identical to the one I've got the head in there. So that's kind of a good thing, isn't it? Yeah, it just says specialised for timber cutting. Oh. There were aluminium ones, there was fibro, what have you, but I really don't think I want to be using my plunge saw for that. I would want to get the, actually I've got a 165mm saw around somewhere. I'll probably get that, but in the future I will try and keep, no, not try, I will keep the track saw for cutting one product, and that's two products, melamine and wood. So, yay, I can put that away just on the off chance that I will use that in the manner I said before, breaking down materials. But I've got a whole pile of saw blades in here that have had the same sort of logic applied to them. In fact, some of them are quite good ones for my bench saw, but others, less so. I've still got some of the 10-inch blades for my Hitachi drop saw, compound miter saw, in there as well. But there's other saws that saw blades could probably be biffed out. What's that one on? Anyway, that there are different blades for different materials. But for this, I'm going to try and not be a bit of a muppet and use it for all sorts of things, but just to keep it for my cuts on the melamine and timber, which are going to be a lot. The cuts, the number that I'm talking about, and I'm going to be really giving the dust extraction a wee bit of a test today, tomorrow, and because there's a lot of cuts, because there's a lot of panels. I've roughed them down to a size that's more easily handled, But the first thing I've got to do is to settle on a particular width, and then I want to cut all of my components down to, I think it's going to be 480 mils wide, and then I can cut the cover pieces, the end pieces, down to 500 mils wide, giving me a 20 millimeter fiddle room. The back of the cabinetry will have some sort of ply or custom wood on it. Maybe some of the thin stuff like this for the bracing mainly. It's quite nice paneling that, but I would probably need to get another sheet, which is a bit of a bummer. I've got 4 units to make, so I think I've only got enough for, I don't know. So we have to have a look at that. But yeah, a lot of components, including shelves, etc., all dimensioned down to the one thing, and that is probably where I wanted to go with this video anyway. Just move that out of the way. That is going to be made so much easier by using the parallel arm guide jig fence gizmo, and that is its official name. Okay, just letting you know. And what I do with that, well, depending on the quality of the cut with the new blade, I actually cut the boards 2 to 3 millimeters oversize, and then I can attach my dimensioning router down, and then I can put the final edge and dimension onto the panels using the dimensioning router. Using a router to give the final edge means that I am more likely to have a very square, straight edge, and even though the track saw does do a lovely job, and so it should, running your edge past a router can be a good thing. And it comes, well, some of the benefits are, it depends on the actual surface finish. And these ones here, wood looking surface, wood grain looking. This one here, or this one in particular, very, very smooth, and it actually gets quite a nice cut straight from the saw. This one here has got a tiny bit of surface grain in it, you know, the way it was manufactured. But there, I'm just trying to look for some. These ones down here, you can probably hear my fingernail. No, not really. But there are some that have got a really strong grain texture in it, and the track saw, as good as it is, sometimes doesn't give you the final finish that you would want. Just trying to find some, because no, I've probably deliberately got rid of the flaming stuff. It's kind of nice panel, but yeah, anyway, the edge sometimes gets tiny little chips, and it doesn't look good. So that's why the dimensioning router is so good. Yes, I have made one or two comments about the dimensioning router, etc. before, but I'm doing it again. Yeah, but yeah, I do find it actually really nice, and you can sneak up on the dimension just by the amount of turn that you put in this thread. This has got a 1 millimeter thread, a pitch thread, so that was 1/4 millimeter. Really good facility to have. Back 1/4 millimeter, push this back, and it's quite surprising, just even with that, how you can miss the mark. So you've got to be a little bit, on the ball. Yeah, looking at the measurements. So yeah, but that, going down to whatever fraction of a millimeter you decide you want, and just turning that in the appropriate amount. So if that's 1/4 mil, well, that's 1/8 mil, whatever. So it's, yeah, I'm over-egging that one, but it's really nice to be able to sneak up on it, and it's static. The beauty of it is when you put your panel up against it, it's being supported by the full length of this bar here, and it doesn't have any wobble. The other version version of doing this is to have a stop board, slide these panels along, and stop. Which I've got one of those. It's a proprietary one. Very nice bit of engineering it is, but not for narrow panels. I've made a video on this as well, but yeah, I'm just trying to get that out. That's why. If I were wanting to cut something like this, this is the only way to go. You put your material up against the fence itself, and then you can make your cut with your track saw. Or your dimensioning router, because you just spin this around and the router's out here. And that is really, really good. And I've used it several times, many times in fact, in the past, and it is incredibly nice. And then when you come to put your panels all on one surface like that, and you run your hand across it, across 20 panels, and it's just like just one piece almost. It's a novel and very pleasurable experience to have in the workshop when you get something for so many different items that accurate. Now, you might say you can do that with your bench saw, and I would agree with you. You might say that, but I have used the bench saw for that very purpose, and never, ever got the consistency over the multiple pieces that I get with the track saw and the dimensioning router setup. Much, much better. So there you go. That is my view on this little, very simple, but it does have to be built reasonably accurately, but like it a lot, and the dimensioning router setup. Rightio, that's it. Going to set myself up, ready to go. Might or might not do some today, and then test out this dust extractor. It will be interesting, especially after my little boo-boo, can I say that, when I tested it, commented on it and saying how good it is, but not as good as I'd want, but hey, and then I realised that the bloody thing wasn't actually connected up at the point here. The joint had dislocated and come off, and it wasn't until I actually reviewed a video, and as I walked past the extractor to turn the motor on itself, I actually caught the fact that it wasn't actually connected. Yeah, I was making a comment. I'm going, oh, isn't this good? Not as good as I want. So lucky I had a little bit of a caveat, to excuse myself. But damn thing wasn't actually working properly. There was a vacuum. It was air movement through it, but not as it should be. Very embarrassing. Rightio, that's it. Better get some work done. Chilly Saturday afternoon here, I've got to say, and doesn't look like it's going to improve much over the next couple of days. But what's today? Well, tomorrow is the last day of autumn, first day of winter coming up. Also my birthday. Okie dokie, that's it. I'll see you later now. Bye.